In this episode, we changed theme parks within Disney World to Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, along with a few other attractions. Hi, I'm Dave Atkinson, and welcome to Life on the Straight. Thank you for watching, and if you'd like to follow our 2-year journey as it unfolds, please consider subscribing, which is free. Like the time after we visited the Magic Kingdom, we needed a day of mostly rest after Epcot, so after getting some groceries at Walmart, it was time to take care of my end-of-the-month bookkeeping and then relax to a Redbox movie. On April 2nd, we drove to the Fantasia Gardens miniature golf courses next to the Swan Dolphin Resort. One nice touch to the golf courses was the adjacent free-of-charge parking lot. Yeah, we saved $17 for the day. Fantasia Gardens features 2 courses, one with long holes, quote-unquote sand traps, which is basically colored carpeting, and a more traditional look, and a shorter course with Disney characters and obstacles to shoot through. We played the long course that morning, and then walked on over to the incredible Swan Dolphin Resort hotels, where we had a wonderful buffet lunch. To clarify, the Swan is one monstrous hotel, and the Dolphin is another, and there is a covered walkway connecting them. We checked out both of them. Other than miniature golf, this day was going to be spent visiting the various resorts. From the Swan Dolphin Resort, we walked over to the Yacht Club Resort and the adjacent Beach Club Resort, with its huge swimming pools and water slide. The Yacht Club featured the Bayside Marina, where customers could rent a variety of boats to motor about the various lakes and waterways in the area. We also checked out Disney's timeshare Beach Club Villas, which pick up where the Beach Club Resort leaves off. We continued walking around Crescent Lake, where the resorts all snug up to, onto the Disney BoardWalk. The BoardWalk had various stores and cafes, and it is also where you enter the BoardWalk Inn and the timeshare BoardWalk Villas, which we visited. The BoardWalk Inn had this incredible chandelier with 4 large horses pointing in 4 directions and cherubs holding our fixtures that contain the lights. Once again, the architecture, interior design, and attention to detail was not lost on us. We caught a boat launch which returned us to the Swan Dolphin Resort, and then we walked back to Fantasia Gardens to play the second miniature golf course and call it a day. We took a break from activities the next day and went shopping at Costco. I should mention that the Honda's navigation system included a feature where it could chart the fastest way to a destination without using toll roads. I would run it both ways, with and without tolls, and see if the reduced mileage was worth paying for. And speaking of tolls, we did decide to return on a toll road, and we exited to an unmanned toll booth. There are no physical restrictions, but it will take a photo and send you the bill for a steep fine if you just roll on through without paying. The car in front of us had stopped, but it wasn't proceeding through. Then a woman got out and came back asking if we had enough change to get her through, and I gave her what she needed. She had some, but not enough. That was my good Samaritan deed for the day. I should note that we stocked up on a ton of change and carried it in a jar in our car's center console just for paying tolls. When we were on the road to GT, or G2, we added paper money to the jar as well. On the 4th, it was off to the next Disney World theme park, Animal Kingdom. Another $17 to the parking lot gods. By far, the most stunning exhibit within this theme park was the Tree of Life. I'll just use a portion of Wikipedia's description. A 145-foot tall sculpture of a baobab, I don't even know how you pronounce that, baobab tree with over 8,000 branches, excuse me, of different sizes and about 102,000 artificial leaves. It features 325 carvings of existing and extinct animal species on its trunk and the surrounding roots. The base of the interior sports a 428-seat auditorium that hosts It's Tough to Be a Bug, a 3D immersion attraction. And that means that the chairs vibrate, smells mist up from chairs in front of you, etc. Based on the film A Bug's Life. Amy and I must have walked around this tree for close to an hour just taking in all the amazing craftsmanship that went into it. Animal Kingdom was more zoo than theme park. One of the rides was the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, where we boarded a large truck-like open-air safari vehicle that carried maybe 30 to 40 people. And off we went into a large reserve with all kinds of animals walking around, eating or resting. Real animals, not the animatronic ones that we saw on the Jungle Cruise ride in the Magic Kingdom. The only other thrill ride we were on was a big round boat with the riders all facing each other as it navigated a river churning with rapids. And yes, we got completely soaked. I had wanted to go on another thrill ride, but the line was too long and Amy didn't want to go on it anyway, so I passed. The Avatar ride was barely under construction, and that took a big chunk of land from the theme park. All in all, except for the Tree of Life, Animal Kingdom was a letdown when compared with the other two parks we had been to. The weather had been clear but much hotter than earlier in the week, and the crowds were so thick that it was hard to get around. We had packed our own lunches, so that saved us a few bucks, as they let you enter the park with a backpack after they check it. When we returned home, I ordered tickets online for a visit to the Kennedy Space Center on the 13th, including grandstand seating to watch the launch of a SpaceX rocket taking supplies to the International Space Station. And they called that CRS-6, which stands for the 6th Cargo Resupply Mission. Words cannot describe how pumped up I was to finally realize a lifelong dream of visiting Cape Canaveral and watching an actual rocket launch. The next day, we decided to play another round of miniature golf, this time at Disney's Winter Summerland course. Just a single course, but we had a fun time. And when we finished, we walked to the adjacent Blizzard Beach water park to see if it looked like something we'd have fun doing. We didn't plan on doing anything that day other than strolling through the attraction and taking lots of photos. The following day, we took the plunge, pun intended, and entered Blizzard Beach to get thoroughly wet. It's an ingenious design, a water park merged with a ski resort. There's even a chairlift to take people to the top of a mountain, but instead of ski runs, there are water slides to the bottom. Amy loved the cross-country creek ride, which is basically a slow-moving river that went around the outside edge of the entire water park. You just wade into the warm creek and grab a big tube, and it's not hard to find a vacant one, and then get comfortable as the flow of the creek gently moves you round and round. There are areas where Disney characters pop out and shoot you with a water gun, and where the creek passes below the mountain, you get doused with cold, quote-unquote, snow runoff water. My favorite ride was the Summit Plummet, a 12-story drop nearly straight down into a dark tunnel before the slide curves out into a long deceleration strip of water. There was a huge line for this ride, and the closer I got to the top, the more people would chicken out and turn around. When it was my turn, They sat me on a shallow plastic sled and told me to cross my arms and legs and hang on tight. You can't even see where you are going until you go. The plunge is so steep. We rode on several more rides, some with abrupt, in other words, uncoordinated endings. But all in all, it was a great day at the water park. On April 9th, we went to the final Disney World theme park, Hollywood Studios. This was accessible by boat, so we saved ourselves $17 by parking out our car at the Fantasia Gardens miniature golf parking lot and then walking to the nearby Swan Dolphin's boat dock. We had a really good time in this park as there were numerous rides and live audience type entertainment. We did Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Muppets, and Journey into the movies, but we missed out on the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror and the Rock and Roller coaster rides. Again, it was really hot that day. There were huge lines, and we were both easy marks for overpriced frosty margaritas. Amy and I went out to dinner at the Outback Steakhouse in Kissimmee that night to celebrate a big event, the payoff of G2's loan. After our Idaho property closed last month, our intent was to pay off our two outstanding loans, the motorhome and the car. And the lender for our motorhome was the first one to get back to us with a payoff amount that was due. Next time, it's off to Kennedy Space Center, both to see the tourist attractions as well as to witness a SpaceX rocket launch.